Hello, 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 y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is doing well. Let me make sure I got my IG together. How are we doing? What's tea? What's tea? What's tea? What's tea, my loves? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get it poppin'. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah? How are we doing? Happy Tuesday tea. Super excited to see you all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Coach Anwar. I am a dating coach for Black and brown women. I help women heal their hearts. I help women find relationship-ready men. I help women get into the best relationships of their lives. Okay? In my program, we probably get women into relationships every other day. Yeah, so we're quite busy here. We love what we do. We do it well. I work with 3 other coaches that help the ladies get to their desired love goals. Yeah. So, super excited to be on here. It's probably going to be hot and poppin' in about 30 minutes or so. So, here's what I want you to do, and here's what this Q&A is all about. What I want you to do is I want you to put your questions in the chat, and I will answer them in the order that I see them. And then we'll have some fun. How does that sound? Yeah? And if there's anything that I say that resonates with you, please tap, double tap, triple tap the screen so that we can really get this party started and poppin'. Yeah? Hi, Winter B. Hi, Marth. Hi, user0949. Hey, Joyous Dreams. Jessica said, I'm finally catching you on live. Hi, Godbrother. Hi. You know, I think TikTok has shadow banned me a little bit, which is totally fine. This happens on occasion, at least once a quarter. When you talk about risque things like I talk about, there's always a risk of it. But I like to play with fire. I like danger. So I'm going to continue talking about the things that other people don't talk about because I'm that girl. And I get to do it. Yeah. User 647 said, can I get on the program? I am from the UK. We have clients all around the world. Okay, so definitely if you're interested, go to the link in my bio. You can book a consultation call to see if it's a good fit for you. You can apply, and if your application is accepted, then you'll get an invitation to actually book a call with us. Okay? But yeah, we have probably about 10 people in the UK that are getting their guy right now as we speak, honey. Alrighty? Okay, Marwa said, can you move on without closure if you got attached to a man? So here's the thing about closure, which I think is very important to understand. Closure is not something that you get from another person. Closure is something that you get with and for yourself. And so what you're going to have to figure out is, what are you still holding on to? And what are you making that mean about you? Right? Because here's the thing. A lot of us think that the person that we were with changed your life or changed you as a person. But what I want to offer to you is that you are the person that changed you. You are the person that made conscious decisions to show up in a different way. And the love that you are attributing to a man is often the love that you have within yourself and the version of yourself that showed up in that relationship. Which is very important to understand, because we don't need to give someone power. We need to actually hold on to the power that is within ourselves. Very important here. Okay? So just want to offer that to anyone who needs to hear it, that wanted to hear it, that needs to move on. Okay? Because you do. The other thing that I want to offer is that I think a lot of us feel like we miss men, but actually, many of us actually don't miss the man. We miss the feeling that we had when we were with said man. And that feeling you get to create by the things that you allow and disallow in your life. That power always came from you, which is very important. Okay? Ashley said, how to move on after being cheated on? Great question. Oh my God, I think I lost my space. Y'all starting to get a little active in here, I see. Here's the thing. I was just talking to a very famous madam, and she I think she's going to be on my podcast, and she was telling me that the one thing that she wanted people to learn in our recording of my podcast, called the Get Your Guy Coaching Podcast, by the way, is that cheating is, when a man cheats, it's rarely about the woman. Like 95% of the time, it's not about the woman. But I think so many of us do make it about the woman, about us, and that's the thing that keeps us down. You got to understand that most of these men often will cheat when they feel really shitty about themselves. When they feel really shitty about themselves. When they are underemployed or unemployed, they will probably cheat to make themselves feel like a man. When they are sick, they will cheat. If they are stressed, they will cheat so that they can feel really good about themselves. Sex and cheating is almost like a level of control that they're trying to gain when they don't have control in their own lives. It's rarely about you, and I think it's important to understand, oh, he's feeling really low about himself. That's why he felt like he needed to do that. But that's not the kind of man that I want to be with. My future husband doesn't solve his own problems that way. Just doing that is super important. Okay? Someone said, do a celebrity D report. I kind of did one in my last video. I was a little scared because I think that they're going to get me, girl. I'm scared. Soleil, thank you so much for the 7 roses, by the way. Okay, Sarah said, how long should I wait to become official when being in a long-distance relationship? I always say that you probably want to see each other at least 3 times. And oftentimes that will represent itself within 2 to 3 months. Jabria said, I'm 26. Am I eligible to apply for your program? Yes, 26 is the youngest that I take on into the program. Why? Because statistically and from a research perspective, men that are younger than 26, they're not serious and they're not ready to get married. And most of the time, a lot of women come to me because they want a long-standing relationship or they want to get married and have children. So that's what I'm in the business of helping out with. Yeah. Okay, Janelle said, a guy stopped talking to me 3 days in because I said I wouldn't cook from him. If you haven't heard from him in 3 days, let him go. He's not your person. Yeah? That means that man wanted a maid. And he wanted a cook. He didn't want a girlfriend or a wife. There's a difference. Men that are serious about you don't want a damn thing from you. They just want you to be there. They don't want you to do anything. They don't need you to do anything. Just be. Very important. So he's looking for somebody to take care of him. You don't have to be that girl. Okay? Lydia said, dating a white guy for the first time. Tips? I'm Black and African. Well, first of all, I'm happy that you've widened your net. And if you are a Black woman in this chat and you haven't dated a white guy, don't come back into this chat until you have a white guy on your roster. You hear me? I want your roster looking like an ad from H&M. A little bit of everybody. Even an Asian man, honey. No shade. Okay? You said, what are the tips? The tips are that I want you to make sure that when you're out with him, that he advocates for you and he protects you. You want to see with time if he is someone that is actually focused on you, the totality of you as a woman, or if it's a fetish thing. Some of these white guys, not a lot of them, some of them will fetishize you. So if he's talking about your black skin or your bigger lips or your bigger nose or what have you, then girl, he don't want you. He wants to skin you. Trust me, as someone who's lived in a lot of places like Germany and Italy where the fetishization level is high, that's what they do. The only difference, if he compliments your hair, he's the real deal. But if he's complimenting other things, he probably isn't it. I hope that's helpful. Inara said, a good question for first or second date to know if he is looking for something serious. Questions are not going to help you figure out if he's looking for something serious. His actions will. You can ask all the questions in the world. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you anywhere because people and a good number of men will lie to get into the bed with you. So I don't want you to think that if I just ask him this, I'll get him. I'll figure it out. No. If he's serious, he'll ask you out at least once a week. He'll plan the dates. He'll take care of all of the dates, the logistics, the payments, all of that. And he'll really ask nothing of you. And he'll do that for an extended period of time. And he'll be very respectful. And he probably won't touch you for the first or second date because he's overly respectful of your boundaries. That's what it looks like. The thing that you want to do, because it's not about whether... Okay, let me take a step back, because there's something that is very interesting about this question, and it is this. You're trying to figure out what he wants to do. Is he serious or not? Girl, when you ask that, you've already lost your power, because you're basing everything on him and what he's got going on. You've got to focus on yourself and figure out what you got going on and see if he can rock with that or not. So this is a mindset shift. Right? And this is one of the things that I help with my clients to do so that they're showing up in their authentic power and their authentic selves to be able to see and have the best strategy to evaluate if the person is actually good for them or not. I will tell you, and this is why I'm a dating coach for Black and brown women specifically, is that a lot of y'all are code switching. A lot of you all are splitting yourselves. What does that look like? It looks like you're one way with your parents, you're one way at work, you're one way with your friends, and you're one way with men. So part of the work that I try to do in my programs, and by the way, if you're interested in that, you can go to the link in my bio and apply to have a consultation with us, is put all of those split parts together so that you're showing up as your full authentic self, 100% of yourself, so that you can be 100% loved. Most of us are showing up as our 60% selves, and then when you show up that way, you can only be 60% loved. Yeah. So I hope that's helpful. Cassie said, can you touch more on Filipino men? I'm not touching any Filipino man. They look like little boys to me, girl, no shade. And I'm not a perv. But the thing about Filipino men, Filipinos are black. They are black, girl. Get into it. Okay, Chell said, how do you feel about being 31 and dating a 25-year-old? I will tell you that if you are a woman of color, you probably will want to date a man that's younger than you. Most of my clients get with men that are 3 to 6 years younger than they are. Don't get fooled and played and thinking like you gotta find somebody that's older. Most of y'all got your financial lives together anyway, and I think sometimes we think, oh, the older they are, the more stable they are, girl. The older they are, that older generation, girl, they are sticks in the mud. They have more traditional ways of thinking when it comes to gender roles and dynamics that can often make you feel stifled. These younger men, number one, they are jackrabbits, if you know what I mean. But also, they will revere you and adore you and cherish you. And a lot of us need a bit of cherishing in our lives. We didn't get a lot of that growing up. That's what you need. That's what you want. And these younger guys are going to give it to you more than these old stick in the muds. Yeah. Natalie said thoughts on Caribbean men. My thoughts are that they will break your backs and break your hearts all at the same time. I will tell you this. There's a reason why you can't drink the water in the Caribbean. And it will make you sick. And these men have been drinking the water their entire lives. And these men will make you sick too. That's what I think about Caribbean men. Okay. I hope that's helpful. Someone said, are Filipinos black everywhere? Girl, get out the gutter. Right now. Brooke says, how do you feel about taller women with shorter men? Girl, I love it. I think that it's interesting. A lot of you all will look at some of these social media videos and some guy will propose to a woman. Girl, half of the time that man is shorter than that woman. But y'all don't see it because you're just happy that they found love. And I'm sharing this because I think many of us think that we're still in high school, that everybody's checking for us and thinking like, oh my God, they're going to be talking about me. Girl, nobody cares about you. And that's no shade. What I'm saying is that most of us are like literally trying to get on IG because they was tripping before. Many of us are just on our phones, not even feeling anything about it. I think a lot of us feel like less feminine because the guy is shorter. I always say, like, if he can pick you up, girl, who cares? Number one, these short men are packing anyway. And I just want whoever treats you the best. I think your femininity doesn't come from your size. I think your femininity comes from within. And you don't need a man to make you feel feminine. That is something that you get to feel within yourself. And that's the work that we do in my program, ultimately. Okay? Yeah. So, sorry, IG. It's not working. I tried. So that's what I feel about it. Girl, ride all the rides. Ride the rides, the tall rides at Six Flags and Busch Gardens and Cedar Point, and ride all the small rides at Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. See which one you like the best. Mira said, do you help with lesbians as well? I help with all women. Girl, lesbians, bisexual women, trans women, cis-het women, all women. Someone said, do you recommend Asian men? He's got to be special. He's got to be an individual who stands on his own. Most Asian men have too much pressure and are too influenced by their parents, specifically their mothers, that it's hard to actually date them because his mother's opinion will be the be-all, end-all. That's why you don't hear me talking about Indian men or Korean men. Because, girl, whatever the mama says, say go. And most of their families are a bit racist. At least this has been the experience of some of my clients and my experience as a dating coach for 15 years. So I don't want you to go through that. It sounds weird, but I kind of want you to be with somebody who, if he's an Asian man, somebody who isn't really in close contact with his parents. Candy said, how can I get a private session with you? So I don't do one-off sessions. My group programs are a year long. So if you're interested in doing this deeper work and really doing transformational work, then definitely want to invite you to go to the link in my bio and book a consultation call. Okay? Extra Pulp said, he keeps bringing up marriage. Is that normal, like so soon? Well, how soon is it? If it's within the first month, then this is probably a love bombing situation. Okay? Sexy Shara said, I love your content, friend. Thank you, girl. Lani said, should I ask a guy out or wait for him to ask first? Never ask a guy out. Don't ask a guy out. When you ask a guy out, his respect level for you goes down to a 0 or a 1. When you ask a man out, then what in his mind, he's like, oh, I got this girl in my pocket, so I'm going to treat her as such. When I tell you, like, you want to wait for them to pursue you and engage with those men, I want you to listen to me. A lot of us are results oriented, and so we just want to get it done and we don't care how it gets done. As long as the numbers are exchanged, as long as for some women out there that want to talk to somebody on the phone, as long as I'm on the phone chatting with him, that's all that matters. It matters how you get there. And he's got to be able to make it happen. And if he's not doing it now, he won't do it for the rest of your life. And you will have to take on the labor of most of the labor of the relationship. And that gets really tiring really fast. Okay? If any of this is resonating with you, definitely don't hesitate to tap, double tap, triple tap the screen. Tap it so much that you're getting carpal tunnel, no shade. Okay? Someone said that's a crazy thing to say. That Filipinos are black? Girl, welcome to my page. I say crazy stuff all the time. I don't know what to tell you. Anna said, hi, Anwar. I'm a med student and I'm 21. I don't have time to date. Who should I date? Girl, you better Grey's Anatomy it. You better date another med student. Y'all better study together and then sleep together. No shade. You hear me? And other ladies, if you are dating a med student, understand something. It will never work. I've been doing this work for 15 years. I've never seen a guy who is a med student successfully be in a relationship with a woman who is not in med school. So I just want to share that with anybody that needs to know. June Love said, he invited me to his house for a first date. I said, F no. Mind you, he's old as F. If a man is asking you to his house, I want you to imagine the little girl inside of you and realize that he's also inviting that little girl to his house as well. It's giving To Catch a Predator. Because one of the things that you have to realize when you are dating is that there are three parts to you. There's adult you, there is rebellious teenager you, and there's the child little girl you. Okay? All three of those people are in your dating life, and you have to take care of each and every one of them. RN20201 said, okay to kiss on the first date. It's a personal preference. Everyone's going to have a different comfort level. When I was out in these streets, I'm as married now, but I was a kissing hoe. I had to kiss. Not because I wanted to know if he was a good kisser. It was just my thing. It was an ego thing, probably. But like if I went to the club, I had to kiss 6 boys. It was a game. I'm past that now. I'm grown. But I say all that to say it's based on your comfort level. I'm not here to police anybody's intimacy. Leah said Turkish men. Turkish men love black women. But Turkish men are small. I'm trying to find... like small. Merhaba. Nasılsın? But if you go to Turkey, you can have any Turkish man you want. Trust that. Okay, everyone keeps on like just putting different races or nationalities and putting a question mark. Y'all not gonna get me canceled tonight. Now that there's a certain administration that is managing this app on the low and on the high, they are much stricter than they were in 2024. I can't say anything on here. They will cut off my live, and they will restrict the people that come onto my live if I say crazy stuff. So just so that y'all know. Someone said, do I have a moderator? No, girl, I don't. No, I do my own stuff. Yakamian said, when I'm ready for a man, I'm coming right to you. I won't be trying to waste no time then. I know that's right, girl. Do it, honey. Do it. Okay, let me... Y'all cracking up. Okay. Lita said, is there any hope for the girlies on our abstinence journey? Asking for myself. Well, a couple of things. One, I think there's always hope. If you look at the research, it will tell you that 90% of people will get into a long-standing relationship. I think the question is more about when, not if. 2, I do think it's important to realize that you're probably going to have to... I generally say that 10 to 20% of the guys that are in the single market are relationship ready. I think it's important to understand that. When you're on your abstinence journey, you're going to have to cut that in half, maybe more, right? So if there's like, let's say 15% of eligible bachelors, you probably are going to see 7 to 8% that are going to be available, right? It just might take a little bit longer. I do think it's important for you early on to share that journey, probably around date 2, date 3. That'll give you enough time and enough investment from him to make an informed decision about how to continue with you or not. I've had a lot of women be on their abstinence journey and get married in my program. one of my latest episodes on my podcast. It's called Shirley's Engagement Journey, where we talk a little bit about that. So it's definitely very possible. Let's see. Someone said, let's see what's going on here. My first time in the dating world after divorcing high school sweetheart. I'm 37. This is new advice. I'm new. What's the advice? The advice is take your time. Let me block this person. Everyone keeps on saying block them. So that's what I did. Take your time. The landscape in dating is very different than it was even pre-pandemic. So I think it's important to just understand that. I think it's important for you to have grace, compassion, and patience for yourself in this process. One of the things that I would do is I would just start on one dating app and just realize that, like, receive the messages that come to you so that you can remember that you are that girl. Because after divorce, oftentimes what happens is, like, sometimes we feel like a failure. Sometimes we feel like, is anybody really even checking for me? And you're going to have to experience the fact that, girl, you're still hot-ish up in here. And people really do want to get to know you, to be with you, all of that. So that's what I would say. Yeah? Good. Okay. Someone said, have I lost value as a 35-year-old woman? Not at all. Not at all. I think many of you all are listening to men that talk a lot of ish about women. All of those men are single. There's a reason why they're single. And oftentimes they will say things like, after 35, like, your value in the market is not great. I want you to think about, there are a lot of women out there that are 35 and older, that are women of color, that have gotten into amazing relationships, like Serena Williams, like Melody Hobbs. There's so many that actually, here's how I want you to think about this. When you're older, you're going to be probably more established, and that will allow you to navigate and inhabit spaces where relationship ready, rich, wealthy, more stable men are going to be. That's awesome. You want to be able to be in those spaces. And maybe at 26 or 28, you weren't able to be in those spaces because you just weren't there yet. There's something really amazing about being a 35-plus-year-old woman. And guys that are secure within themselves actually prefer to engage with women their age. Men that are trying to prove something, that actually are probably emotionally unavailable, are going to go for the young women that are going to want to use for trophies. And those men care more about how other people view them than how they view themselves. You don't want to be with those men. Men that's like rich boy stuff. You want wealthy men. Wealthy men are focused on legacy, are focused on women that can challenge them, that can make them think about things differently, about women who can teach them things, give them different perspective. You want to be a woman that can talk about a variety of different subjects, like spirituality, biotechnology, AI, A lot of those things. Very important. Okay. Christy loves it. What's your view on being ghosted? Great. Great. You want as many people to ghost you as possible. One of the things in my program that I have to help my clients get used to is the fact that dating is not personal. And the more that you make it like impersonal, the better. And ghosting can kind of help you do that. Because at some point when you see that there are a lot of people that are doing this, you're realizing that a lot of people in this market just aren't ready to be in a relationship, and that's okay. There comes at some point a level of acceptance that I think is really important when you're dating. And hopefully that will create a level of detachment. Detachment in dating, which is one of my more recent episodes on my podcast, is a superpower. And the quicker that you can get there, the quicker that you will find your person. Sarah said, what are your thoughts on Christian man that never asks me out but texts me whenever he feels like it? If a man hasn't asked you out in a week, drop him. The fact that you're letting some rando man text you whenever he wants to is a boundary violation. Stop it right now. And I want to speak especially to my Christian girls out there. Don't let these Christian men get away with murder. Don't let them get away with stuff just because they say that they're Christian or just because they go to church on Sunday. Because a lot of them are more trifling than the sinners, no shade. The sinners. Yeah. So, drop him. Thank you and goodbye. Okay, Callie said, I've lost 100 pounds and dating has been hard because of the men I attract or... So one of the things that I want to offer to any women that have lost a significant amount of weight is that it's going to take some time for your mind and your heart and your confidence to catch up to where your body is. For many of you, not everyone. This has just been my experience. And so we're going to have to give ourselves some grace and compassion around this, right? I think what happens is that you might attract a different number of people, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the quality has changed. So it can be a bit overwhelming sometimes, and it can actually be harder. Yeah, that just requires a bit more dating strategy when you're dating. It's one of the things that I teach my clients. I have my own proprietary strategy for dating. So for y'all in here, do you have a dating strategy? I want to know. And if you don't have a dating strategy, put hashtag no strategy up in here. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of us can be really hard on ourselves because you haven't perfected or understood this dating thing, when in reality, one, you've never been taught, and two, you don't have a strategy in dating, so of course it's going to be hard for you. Most of us have a strategy for every other part of our lives, except for dating. I think that the rom-coms and Disney tells us that it's just going to happen, and then it's just going to be a happily ever after, and it's not like that. I do call myself the fairy god brother, but love and dating now is not a fairy tale. This is real life. And it's not perfect. And people are going to make mistakes because they're human. And we have to be okay with and understand that we have to create skills to navigate when those things happen. Let me see what's going on here. Yeah, I'm seeing a good number of no strategy up in here. And that's okay, ladies, by the way. That's okay. a lot of y'all are thinking that you're not doing it right. I don't think there's like a right or a wrong per se. I think that there is a dating from a healed place and an unhealed place. And so our job is to actually heal ourselves so that anything that is unhealthy is like disgusting to us. A lot of us are actually intrigued and are attracted to toxic or unhealthy individuals because you may have a certain bonding pattern that you might have received. Girl, girl. I'm trying to tell you, they keep on restricting my access. They keep on blocking me from my own lives. Like I'm doing something wrong. Girl, they are on my ass like white on rice, girl. So I'm glad they restored my live this time because I didn't say or do anything wrong. So I'm back. Let me know. I want to talk to you now. Now we're going to get into it. We're going to get into these dating questions. We're going to figure out what's what in the butt. And we're going to help you level up your dating life at the end of the day. Let me put this light on, honey, so you can see me. Yeah. So it doesn't say that I'm on live. Weird. I know it's doing some weird stuff. What happened here was that they literally just cut off my access because they thought I did something illegal. I appealed it and they said, you're right. You didn't do anything illegal. I'm being good, Anwar, which is very hard for me to do. Thank you for asking, Teacher Lorraine. And thank you all for being here again, honey. Yeah, they on me, girl. They on me, girl. Okay. Let's get into it though. Peyton says, how do I find the balance between hating men and dating men? Okay. First of all, I think it's important to understand that when we hate men, it is often because we might be scared of them and we might fear them. And oftentimes that may happen because we don't have our boundaries in place to protect ourselves. So that might be something for you to think about, consider. And if you need help with that, you may want to book a call. And the link is in my bio for that, so we can help you with the boundaries. Yeah. Krista said, is there any hope for women over 30 in Atlanta? 100%. Can I just tell you something? My girls in Atlanta are getting their guys. I'm going to tell you something that I haven't told a lot of people, but I actually think that Atlanta is not the hardest place to date anymore. I think the hardest city in the US to date is now Houston. Houston is a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Okay? Okay. Teacher Lorraine said, what changes have you seen in dating recently? I think it's gotten very difficult. Pre and post pandemic, night and day. I think that people started going onto the apps during the pandemic, and it's been 5 years. That's a long time to be on the apps. And I think it's really like played a toll on a lot of people. I think social media and the algorithms have not helped. I think that if you like one dating advice video, it's going to represent 80% of your feed. And so it's like all of these people talking about dating. And at some point, it's making people not feel good about dating and not feel good about themselves within dating. I try to be someone that brings some levity and some fun to it because a lot of people like speak down to women about this and just don't make them feel good about it. But that's what I'm saying. I'm also saying that it's becoming more and more unsafe. Like, there's just a lot of people that are scammers and fakers. I think that a lot of people are unhealed, and it's becoming, especially the people that are single, and so it's just become a harder place to be when it comes to dating. I was just telling my coaches this, that it's getting harder and harder. Our jobs are getting harder and harder. We still love what we do, it's just getting harder and harder. Within my program, I still have people getting into relationships every other day. It's just taking a little bit more time to get there. Okay. Blair says, some people say that I have resting bee face. How do I look more approachable? Well, one, you don't want to look approachable. It doesn't matter what your face really looks like. If somebody's into you, somebody's into you. And if he's in his masculine, he is going to pursue you. What I will say is that you've got to figure out if you just have that RBF, or like, are you truly unhappy, or are you happy with an RBF? Because if you're happy, then your energy, you'll feel it. So part of this is actually just checking in with yourself and figuring out, do I like my life? Am I happy? Am I doing the things that are making me happy? Am I going to the places that bring me joy? A lot of y'all are not. A lot of y'all are going from errand to errand and just working. So part of this is actually creating time and space to be in your feminine during the day, during different activities and events and things that you do. Okay. Okay, let me see what y'all are talking about. And thank y'all for coming back, and thank y'all for the almost 4,000 likes. Tap, double tap, triple tap the screen. I think when I got cut off, I had like 60,000 likes. I don't know what TikTok is doing, honey, but they're trying to come from me. But you know what? They're not going to win. Do you know how many people that are like other dating coaches and things like that that are talk bad about me and try to sabotage me because I'm growing and they're not? It's horrible out there. You'd be surprised, girl. So it's just another thing that is like trying to limit me. But girl, I don't care. I'm still gonna talk my ish. I'm still gonna give you the tea no chaser. I'm gonna be that spicy margarita that you all love so much. And we're gonna help you get your guy. I mean, that's the name of my program, and it's the name of my program for a reason. I don't let things get to me. As someone who's been a gay black boy for all of my life, if I let everything get to me, girl, I wouldn't be where I am. One of the things that has helped me so much and that I want to share with you all is that I let people be them. And I realize that everyone is on their own journey. And we have to allow people to be on their journey. This is very important. A lot of people take everything that people are doing personally as if it's like, oh, it's about me. Girl, none of this is about you. Most people are operating based on their little child, their inner child, their ego. And when we start to separate someone's ego from who they are, we get to detach from what people are doing or saying. Very important. I hope that helps to anyone that needed to hear that. As Stephanie said, if a guy asks for my number and then I never heard from him yet see him around and he just says hi, block him. He's not serious. Sona said, hi, fairy godbrother. I love you. Thank you for all your advice. You're welcome. Thank you. Zakir was like, I was like, where did the live girl? Girl, me too. Girl, they blocked it, girl. I don't know what TikTok, girl. Honey, they're making me feel like I gotta watch my back, honey. Von Alman said, why should we date gamers? Good question. So let me just caveat this by saying I want you to date employed gamers. Some of the gamers are not employed. I need you to date gamers that game after work to wind down, not game all day to numb themselves out from life. Also, gamers oftentimes are packing and throw it down. And they don't quit because they're gamers. And they're not going to stop until they win. And oftentimes that win means you getting a no, girl, no shade. Yeah? Kyla said, military guy left. I'm so sad. Girl, let that military man fight his war, internally and externally. Trust. Somebody said, one thing I'm going to do is ignore my boyfriend and watch your live. No, girl, don't ignore him, girl. Don't ignore him for me. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Mean Bean said, my ex and I broke up and I saw him following a DL page and it follows him. So I confronted him. Here's what I would say. Don't confront men in their DL-ness. Instead, I think it might be a more beneficial approach to open the space about sexuality and things that you might be open to moving forward so that he understands that, like, oh, I can share what I am open to as well. And you might want to share that one time in college when you kissed a girl and see what he comes up with. Did you not have that phase? You didn't kiss girls in bars to get attention from frat guys like I did? Girl, I'm telling too much tea. It's a wrap. TikTok, cut me off now before I start telling too much of my tea. Okay. Andrika, hi, good to see you, girl. The funny thing is that a lot of the people that followed me before TikTok got cut off in mid-January, they don't see my stuff anymore. So, Andrika, you're one of those ladies. I'm glad that you've come back, that we get to see each other. Cara said, what to look for in a dating coach? Well, I think it really depends on your goals. A lot of women come to me because they want to get into a relationship. So if that's your goal, you should ask people, how many relationships have you gotten women into in the past month? Most of them won't be able to tell you. I will tell you, we've probably gotten about 10 women into relationships this month alone. Yeah. Esther says, how much is colorism a factor in dating? I think it's a big factor. And it sucks, and I'm sorry that it is, but I also want to be 100% real, right? If you look, the research says that lighter skinned Black women have a marriage rate around the 40 percentile. Medium tone is closer to around 28%. Darker skin tone are around 17%. It matters. But the other thing that I want to offer, especially for my darker skin sisters out there, is gonna have to widen your net. A lot of my darker skin sisters are focused on Black men because they think that the Black men are gonna appreciate the skin tone. What y'all need to understand is that, honey, these white men might like you more than these black men will. No shade. So opening up your I have a client who lives in the DMV area. She was hyper focused on, black men. Girl, she widened her net. She's in the healthiest relationship she's ever been in. And it's with a white guy. And she had to obviously navigate a lot of things that came up for her, but ultimately, she's happy. So I want to offer that to anyone that maybe that is darker skinned and is hyper focused on just black men. Because I think like when you actually open it up to everyone, you will 7x your chances. Whoever needed to hear that. Peyton said, are men swiping right on everyone or are they swiping intentionally? I don't think that they're swiping on everyone, but I think that they're swiping on, let's say, 80%. Yeah, many of them are. And then they're waiting for people to match with them and like them back before they start to engage. And the reason why they do this is because men on dating apps are getting rejected 90% of the time. Which is something that I think a lot of people don't actually know. Whereas women are getting quote unquote rejected like 30% of the time. So they're actually, a lot of people, specifically women think, oh my God, they're so lazy on the date. When in reality, they're actually doing much more work than you think and having many more conversations, but they're just getting rejected all of the time. And the reason that is because the majority of women are just liking like 10 to 20% of the profiles out there and not really engaging with other men. So there's like this imbalance going on. And the men that most of the women are engaging with on the apps, they have the pick of the litter, right? And so they don't have to chase you because they have 800 women that are in their chats. So that's why when you hear me and I say go for the mid guy, I mean it. Because mid guy maybe physically, but top on everything else. Now Alita said, is not fulfilling promises a red flag enough to end a relationship? Well, I don't really necessarily believe in red flags or green flags. I'm someone who wants women to check in with themselves and base their decisions on how they feel and what their intuition tells them versus what they're observing based with their head and their intellect, what they're observing on a guy. Because oftentimes our trauma will inform how we're judging certain situations. And everyone doesn't have the same quote unquote red and green flags. So I think if we actually reframe not fulfilling promises as that you can't trust this guy, yes, we step away from people that we don't trust. Tink said he kissed me on the forehead, talked to him the next day, and now he goes to me. Girl, if a man is kissing you on the forehead, he does not want to be your man. Girl, he's kissing you in the same way that the Pope kisses you. Don't do it. You hear me? If a man is doing that, he doesn't like you, no shade. Thank you all so much for the 33,000 likes. I appreciate it. Ayana said, thoughts on the black cat theory? I believe in it wholeheartedly, and I think every black woman should become a black cat. Black is already in the name, girl. You halfway there. You need some golden retriever men. Okay, your Mama Stepa said, we have different political views. It probably isn't going to work nowadays. And I say that because there's such a divide now that like Republicans have turned MAGA, many of them have, and that is such a, like, it's on the farther end of the spectrum, which makes it hard for more liberal leaning individuals to truly connect with. Someone said, can you please speak about what you were speaking about when the live cut off? Girl, you're going to have to remind me. I forgot. Nas said, social media activity while dating, 7 weeks consistent, but like so many girls' pictures. Tell him that makes you uncomfortable and see if he changes. I always tell my ladies who get into relationships that it takes a bit of time for him and you to actually transfer identities from someone that is single to someone that's in a relationship. The other thing that I will say is that the same way that you might like a post on the Shade Room or Media Takeout or any of those is the same way that a lot of single guys would like girls' pictures, right? But you get to share, like, that makes me a bit uncomfortable, and see what he does with it. If he stops it, great. If he doesn't, we might need to let it go. Okay, Foodie said, hi, Emma. What's your opinion on dating someone for 8 months but never really received a gift? I would need to know more information, to be honest with you. But if you're in, first of all, you should be in a full-fledged, exclusive, committed relationship. So my question is, when you say dating, is it casual, or have you had an exclusivity commitment conversation to, transfer labels to your actual relationship? And if he's not ready to be in an exclusive, committed relationship with you within 3 months, he doesn't want it, and you got to step away. And the fact that he hasn't invested in this with gifts or other things might be another indication that he's not very serious about this courtship with you. If you are in an exclusive, committed relationship and you had that conversation, you get to share that this is how you'd like to receive gifts, that you really enjoy it. It makes you happy. It makes you excited. It makes you taken care of. It makes you feel cherished. It makes you feel adored. And see what he does. And if he still doesn't do it, out. Natalia said, he's giving me pet names before we meet. Red flag. Again, I don't really work in red flags, but I will tell you that is exactly what a lot of love bombers do. And I would set a boundary and let him know that I don't, I would prefer to just be called by my name. And if he does it again, then he'd be out. Because a lot of men will do this to try to skip the line and to create a level of familiarity with you so that you inherently trust him more. Set that boundary and see how he reacts to that boundary. A lot of narcissists or love bombers hate boundaries. They hate having to go at your pace and not their own. Morgan said he came back after 2 years off and wants to reconnect. This is a bad thing, right? Well, it depends on how you guys left things off and how you were treated 2 years ago. If the situation was not great, yeah, I would not re-engage. If it was like a fizzle out situation, like for example, my partner and I, we kind of fizzled out, but there was no bad blood between us. We didn't mistreat each other, and then we came back together like a year later, a year and a half year later, and have spoken ever since, every day. Someone said, how long is Eminem? Well, I will tell you, he's not 8 Mile. He's more like 6 Mile. But I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. Tink said, when should you expect consistency from a guy? I don't think that you should expect anything from any guy. I think that you should observe how they decide to show up and take that as is, right? I think that the quickest way for you to hate dating is for you to create or put expectations on a guy, because most guys, like 97% of them, will not meet your expectations. And the difference or the delta between expectations and reality is disappointment. And we can only, as humans, like literally take on a certain amount of disappointment before we feel completely defeated. So have no expectations on guys and see how they show up. And if they show up in a consistent way that feels good and safe to you, great. If they don't, drop them with the quickness. Annetta says, the more I work on me, the more challenging relationships are. Good. The more healed you become, the smaller your pool. In romantic relationships, in family ships, and in friendships. I tell my clients all the time, when you come into this program, I need you to understand that a third of the people that you talk to now, you won't be in a relationship with them a year from now. Because your boundaries will improve, your vulnerability will improve, and you will realize that a lot of these people actually don't have the emotional capacity to be a safe person in relationship with. And that's okay. I want you to think of smaller pools as healing. Okay, let me figure out what's going on here. Shell said, there are men in the chat. There are always men in the chat. They trying to peep the game, honey. Half of them are my family, but half of them are not. You would be surprised how many of these men are all up in my DMs talking about, a variety of different things. Girl, I have to pay them no mind, girl. I'm not going to let some rando break up my family and my marriage. Let me see what y'all are talking about. Hannah said, should I be upset if he ignores me on Snap sometimes and snaps other people when we hung only twice? No shade, girl, but who cares what he's doing on Snap? Is he taking you out? The fact that you said that y'all hung out twice doesn't sound like courtship and doesn't sound like a date to me. It sounds like y'all are talking. And one of the things that I think is important that we need to reframe is, if you're going to be dating, these men have to court. I'm just finding my place again. Give me some time. Shonda said, spill the tea about the DMs. I can't, girl. I can't. I get about 50 DMs a day, girl. And I will say about 5 of them are from randos trying to see what it do. And guess what? It do nothing. It takes the kids to school and comes back because it's a suburban mother of 3. Someone said, will you ever invite someone up and talk to them split screen? Probably not. No shade, but I've been in those lives before and people talk too much. And I get bored easily. And I just try to give you as much value as possible. I think that people actually receive more knowledge from me just answering these questions back to back than listening to someone go on and on for 5 or 10 minutes. Also, if you want that sort of attention, you can just join my program. And if you are interested in it, just go to the link in my bio and apply, fill out an application to have a consultation call with us. Barbara said, how do I know if he secretly hates me? Well, if you're asking this question, then he probably does. And that's no shade. And the reason I say that is because if that is even in your realm of thinking, then you don't feel safe. When you are surrounded by masculine love, you're never going to think about that. Even when you're in argument, you're going to know that this person loves you and wants the best for you and wants you to be protected. Okay? So I think that that's important. I think that if he nags you, if he gives you backhanded compliments, if you share great news with him or something that has happened great for you and he downplays it or finds a way to minimize it, that's probably a way. If he is rough during fun time, sometimes he's hate effing you. I think oftentimes if he has a wandering eye while he's with you, most guys do that on purpose to let you know that I can replace you whenever. That you're nothing to me. So those are some signs that I would definitely look out for someone who doesn't really like me. Also, he probably won't take you out if he doesn't like you or hates you because he's ashamed of you. So a lot of your dates will be in the home. Rizzy said, why does this man keep watching my socials? He wants to keep tabs on you. It means that at some point he's going to reach out when he feels like he can have access to you. Don't give him that access. A lot of women think that just because he looks at my socials, it means that he wants me. If he wanted you, he would be in direct communication with you, and he would be taking you out. Him watching your socials means nothing. No shade, but I hate watch Housewives of Atlanta and Housewives of Potomac. It doesn't mean that I like it. A lot of these men are hate watching your socials. So I think it's important to understand that. A lot of men want to see that, especially if y'all broke up, that you're doing worse without him. And when he sees that you're doing better without him, he's going to come back in your life and try to steal some of your glow up for his own, like, growth, his own glow. Don't let him do it, please. I know it might sound like I'm very pessimistic or I'm talking about a lot of negative things, but I'm sharing this with you because most of the guys that are single are not relationship ready and will act like this. And I believe that in dating, your job is to get rid of all the negative ones. It's not to find the one. It's to get rid of the negative ones as quickly as possible so that you can find someone who is ready for the healthiest. So, if someone's asking, how do I join that? You definitely want to go to the link in my bio and book a consultation call, and we'll figure out if it's a good fit or not. Okay? Someone said, talk more about that. No, girl. You have to come into my program. God's child loves it. Guy always says he's a good dude when we talk. You think it's a red flag? Again, I don't really talk in red flags, but good dudes don't say that they're good dudes. Nice guys don't say that they're nice guys. Guys that say that they don't want drama are drama. Men that are about it don't talk about it. They just are. So I think that it's something to consider as you are navigating your dating life. Let me see what y'all are talking about here. Okay. But doesn't keep a job. It's kind of like you're asking me, is 1 + 1 3? Where's the extra one? Where's the money, honey? No. I think that, and this is another reason why I'm a dating coach for Black and brown women specifically, is because many of us didn't actually grow up with money, and so that can affect the way that we think about relationships, and we might actually over-index on people who talk a lot about being able to take care of you. And we just need to be able to take care of ourselves so that we're not overly relying on a man to take care of everything. I think this is where Shira 7 and I kind of diverge a little bit. I think that she probably puts a bit more weight on the financial than I do. My coaching is centered around love pairings and not necessarily like love relationships versus transactional relationships within yourself. So that's all I would like to offer on that. My page, my socials on TikTok, as well as IG and YouTube, I do appreciate it. And I feel the love and I feel supported. There was someone in my DMs talking about, this guy copied you, and I was about to tell him off. And I was like, girl, it's fine. Don't do it. I appreciate how you all stick up for me. Please don't think that I don't see it. I feel it, and I'm so grateful for it. I feel the love, I feel the protection, and it really does inspire me to keep on going. So again, thank you. Star said, I can't wait for the book. So I think I'm going to self-publish it because a lot of the agents and publishers, they don't think that they want my book to be a general book for every woman. And I've been very adamant that my book needs to be for Black and brown women. And I'm sticking to that. So I have a meeting with the publisher tomorrow, but if that goes nowhere, I'm going to self-publish my book and it's going to come out on Black Friday. I'm calling it Black Girl Friday. Black Girl Dating Friday. Yeah, because my book is written already, so all I have to do is get an editor and print it out, honey. Send it off to y'all, honey. I'm also going to make sure that this book is the book that every Black woman, brown woman needs to read to learn how to date. My Squanda said, podcast poppin'. Thank you so much, girl. I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah. Next week, I have Dr. Tama. You might know her. She's going to be on the podcast. And it's a very intimate conversation. So it's definitely going to be a great, great episode that you'll definitely want to tune into. Elijah said, do you feel your advice can be applied to queer men too? Yes. I think that my advice is really about energies. It's about, I think that the good thing about relationships, that relationships are about compliments. And it's about matching your level of masculine, feminine balance with your partners. I think sometimes it's a little bit harder to do that in same gender loving relationships, but it's not impossible. Thank you all for the support. Yes, I'll be doing a book signing. We'll be doing a tour. There will be a paperback version as well as a digital version. Court Lauren said, do you still do Adore tours? I just haven't done it because I've been writing my book, but we're going to start those back up in the fall. Someone said, not Black or brown, but Latina and definitely interested. When I say brown, I mean Latina girl. Y'all are brown. Get into it. Unless you're the white Latina. So when it comes out, I'm going to need everybody's help. I'm going to ask for my launch team, honey. Baby girl Mo said, can I just date you? Who? Me? Couldn't be. Alexandra said, he says I stress him out. Good. Men love to be stressed out. It bonds them to you. Yeah. Glenda said, Anwar, I never hear you speak on appearance, style, hair, a look. Do you think that's important? I don't speak on it because I actually don't think it is as important as you may think it is, personally. I've seen a variety of different women get into a relationship. Hair done, hair not done. Variety of different sizes, colors, styles, right? Punk, emo, conservative, businesswoman style and appearance. It's about this. Men want, and I know it sounds cliche, they want a homie, lover, and a friend. And this is about how you make them feel. Now, some of this is maybe part of the lover, but I think most people actually, more weight is put on what happens in the bedroom than what you look like outside of the bedroom when it comes to lover. And it's about energy. It's about tension, right? All right, let me see what's going on. I think girl, I gotta go. I got some big meetings tomorrow. Yeah? Thank you for being here, and thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate it. I'm gonna get some rest. I've been a little bit low energy the last couple of days. Anytime I'm between seasons and the weather changes, I feel like I go through the change. My podcast is on Spotify and Apple. Yeah? All right, ladies, have an amazing night, and I will talk with you soon. Bye now.